Iran agreed to come back to the negotiating table with 6 world powers, reviving hopes of a landmark nuclear deal. That's according to Iran's top nuclear negotiator after meeting with EU officials in Brussels. On Wednesday, Ali Bagheri Khani tweeted, quote, "Had a very serious and constructive dialogue with Enrique Mora on the essential elements for successful negotiations. We agree to start negotiations before the end of November." Talks on Geneva had stalled after the election of Iran's hardline president, Ibrahim Raisi, in June. Raisi is expected to take a tougher approach with the West. Iranian Foreign Minister Hossein Amir-Abdollahian on Wednesday said U.S. President Joe Biden needed to demonstrate his commitment to negotiations.
I personally believe that if Mr. Biden is serious, then he should show this so that we can believe that the Americans are actually serious about lifting sanctions.
Spearheaded by American diplomats in 2015, the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, or JCPOA, lifted global sanctions on Iran in exchange for limits on Tehran's nuclear program. 3 years later, Republican President Donald Trump quit the deal and imposed new sanctions. Iran then resumed enriching uranium beyond limits set by the JCPOA. Under Democratic President Joe Biden, the U.S. has called for a return to the deal, but Iran has insisted on sanctions relief first. U.S. Special Envoy for Iran Robert Malley said earlier this week that efforts to revive the pact were at a, quote, critical phase, and Tehran's reasons for avoiding talks were wearing thin. 16-year-old Yoon Ki-chan spends dozens of hours in front of his computer at school, working towards his dream of becoming a professional online gamer. Every day, Yoon makes a 2-hour round trip to Eunpyeong Meditech High School, South Korea's only school with esports on its academic curriculum. He and his peers are part of the next generation of gamers in a country that's long been an esports powerhouse and may soon grow even bigger.
Due to the global health crisis, I got to spend more time at home and began playing League of Legends intensively. I reached the Diamond tier. That's given to the top 1 to 2% of users, and that's when I thought pursuing the pro gamer dream might be possible.
2 big factors are giving South Korean esports a boost. In August, the government announced it would abolish a decade-old ban on computer games at night for children under 16. That's in contrast with much larger competitor China, the world's biggest esports market, which in August drastically limited video gaming time to a mere 3 hours a week. And big business has joined the craze and launched their own teams, including Hyundai affiliate Kia and instant noodle maker Nongshim. But Nongshim Esports CEO Oh Ji-hwan says the missing piece to really thrive is government support.
The esports industry continued growing, but the state-led support has been weak, with corporate sponsorships and private academies mainly having driven the industry.
A government official said they want to do more to support esports ahead of major competitions like the Asian Games, but did not offer further details.
The gun that actor Alec Baldwin fired on the New Mexico set of his movie Rust last week, killing one person and injuring another, wasn't properly checked, according to officials and a new court filing. The Santa Fe County Sheriff said Wednesday actor Alec Baldwin fired a .45 caliber Colt revolver loaded with a live-lead bullet, adding that filmmakers showed complacency towards safety on the set. The accidental shooting killed cinematographer Helena Hutchins and injured director Joel Souza. Sheriff Adam Mendoza said it appears the same bullet struck them both.
The actual lead projectile that was fired has been recovered from the shoulder of Mr. Souza. We regard this specific spent casing and recovered projectile to be the live round that was fired from the revolver by Mr. Baldwin.
Mendoza and District Attorney Mary Carmack Altwies said no one has been charged, but all options are on the table and no one has been ruled out. According to court documents, Hannah Gutierrez, the crew member in charge of firearms on set, told investigators that she had checked the gun but found no hot rounds or live ammunition before the shooting. Assistant Director Dave Halls took the gun from a cart used by Gutierrez. According to an affidavit, Halls told investigators he should have checked all the rounds in the gun before handing it to Baldwin, but had not. Baldwin received what he thought was a cold gun, meaning unloaded, from Halls, according to authorities. A search warrant turned up hundreds of pieces of evidence that officials said will be analyzed by the FBI.
3 firearms, approximately 500 rounds of ammunition, and several pieces of clothing and accessories.
Baldwin, who is cooperating with the investigation, was practicing drawing the gun and pointing it at a camera when the weapon fired. According to court documents, the sheriff said there was complacency on the set regarding firearms.
I think there was some complacency on this set, and I think there are some safety issues that need to be addressed by the industry and possibly by the state of New Mexico.
The shooting has sent shockwaves through Hollywood, prompting a debate about safety protocols in film and television, including whether certain types of guns used as props should be banned.
A plan unveiled by U.S. Democrats on Wednesday would levy new taxes on billionaires, which would help pay for President Joe Biden's proposed spending bill expanding social services and tackling climate change. The so-called Billionaires tax, announced by Senate Finance Committee Chairman Ron Wyden, is paired with a proposed 15% corporate minimum tax targeting big, profitable companies that now seem to get away with paying little or no taxes. Proponents, including Democratic Senator Elizabeth Warren, say the measure would curb tax avoidance by corporations and the super rich, and could generate hundreds of billions of dollars to pay for Biden's Build Back Better legislation.
My Build Back Better plan gets us back on track,
which is expected to cost between $1.5 trillion and $2 trillion. The White House backs the corporate minimum tax, which would dovetail with the global corporate minimum tax recently agreed by 136 countries. The Billionaires tax, which would take effect in 2022, would affect roughly 700 taxpayers with over $1 billion in assets or $100 million in annual income for 3 consecutive years. Republican Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell on Tuesday said Americans were not interested in higher taxes.
Well, the larger issue is whether the country needs a big tax increase. The American people are not asking for any of this.
At least one billionaire, Tesla founder Elon Musk, is unhappy with the plan. As reports of the proposal swirled earlier this week, Musk tweeted, "Eventually, they run out of other people's money, and then they come for you." An analysis by the Washington Post calculated that Musk might owe as much as $50 billion based on his ownership of stock in Tesla and other firms.